Hey, HR friends, welcome back. We're in the 5-2 emotional 6.5 day sequence. We're going to talk about day six. Day six is right here in this white rectangle. Now, if this is your first forecast with us, I'd back out of this video and right below it, you can check out this link right here and it will talk all about the 5-2 emotional 6.5 day set we're in. This is the entire 6.5 day set. This is day six. And what it's going to help you understand is how we go through these graphs so that you can keep up with us on these forecasts. All right, so let's get into day six here. And day six is definitely going to get a little bit spicier than we had in 4 and 5. That's for sure. We have one emotional polarity flip that's going to start to happen here. And you can see that it elevates in the second 12 hours, and then that's going to hold through 6.5 in the last 12-hour series here that we're going to talk about in the next 24 hours. Now, you can see how that really lifts this up. This is creating one of those things we call a swell or a roller. So we're using those ocean analogies again. So when a mental or an emotional polarity flip happens, it's going to create this swell. It's going to push all the other ones up and it's going to hold it there. And that's exactly what's happening. So at the end of day six, when we look at the combined, you can see that we're going to reach that level four. You see, when we get to that level four, your defensive design, the defensive design of our bodies is really going to be activated. And it's going to make it hard for us to be clear and communicate and to not react defensively. Now, it's not super high above the four, but it definitely reaches that four and it's going to maintain around that four level. And then we're going to switch into a new awareness, which is going to be difficult. Now, this by far is not the most difficult transition that we've made. If we go back a couple weeks and even a couple months, they were way worse than this. So, do you need to be cautious? Yes. Do you really need to make sure that you're not overreacting and becoming defensive? Definitely. Are we trying to scare you with this one? No. We should be able to get this done pretty easily, I would hope, and you just know about it now. Okay. So let's get down here and let's talk about what's going to happen in the testing sequence today. So in day six, testing sequence for upper left quadrant, that's pretty much staying the same. Upper right quadrant staying the same. If you were having trouble in day five with your left lower quadrant, that's going to back down some. Testing load has really come down on left lower quadrant, but the reverse in the right. So the right's going to come up. So in day five, if you had a lot of going on in the left lower quadrant, it's possible in day six you're going to feel a flip flop and it's going to go over to your right side. We'll find out what happens here when we get in day six, won't we? Now, I always mention this. It's worth knowing. These governing frequencies, all they want to do is they want to make sure that you are getting along with every teammate. So you're not letting your defensive design convince you that there's some member of the team that you don't have to get along with. Also, that you're balancing your routine in a way that's going to make sure that every future family that exists on this world is going to have a better, fair, balanced experience because of what you invested in when you were here. Okay. So that's the biggest thing here. You've got to contribute to the future state of a balanced world with balanced families. If you're not doing that, you're out of balance with these frequencies. And you got to get along with every member of the team. If you're not doing that, you're out of balance with these frequencies. And all that does when you're out of balance is it accelerates your aging and you're going to have the accumulated stress that leads to the unfortunateness of disease and suffering as you progress through life. Now, the reason you want to balance with these frequencies is if you commit to the team and you balance your routine and everything you do in the rest of your life, make sure that every future family is going to have a better existence because of you. It's going to be fair and balanced. Then you graduate, you get out of this thing. Okay. That's the most important part. Now, we always talk about that graduation, and then we come down here and we look at the Plutonic objective master key because it's literally this simple. You have to master every Plutonic objective. There's 64 of them. And all it is it's different combinations of perspectives, either third person perspectives and first person perspectives, and you got to balance them all. If you balance them all, you slow aging. If you balance them all, you can reverse states of disease. And if you balance them all, you graduate out of this simulated hell and you get to go on to a simulated heaven. That's how that works. It's that simple. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go over all of the awarenesses that are currently in control. And we've got the five strongest here listed. So the first one we're going to talk about is the macro mental. This is a year-long frequency, and it wants to know, what are your choices? How are they going to create a future world? Is that world going to be balanced or unbalanced? If it's balanced, you got no worries. If it's unbalanced, where you're going to feel it specifically is going to be in your left lower quadrant. Okay. So in 2024, if your left lower quadrant's been giving you trouble and it just won't quit, it's because your world focus or how you're going to leave this world with your current choices, it's not balanced. So the other side of the 8-4 has to do with how are you going to leave this future existence for future mothers? So how are future mothers going to do because of your routines and what you invest in right now? If future mothers are going to have a fair and balanced experience because of you, then you got nothing to worry about. But if future mothers are going to have an unbalanced experience because of your routines and your thoughts and the way you do things right now, then you're going to have problems specifically in this right lower quadrant. So in 2024, if right lower quadrant's been nagging you and you just can't figure out why, well, you need to start to work on how you're dealing with those mature feminine teammates to make sure their future existence is going to be balanced because of what you contribute. All right, let's move on. So that's the year-long frequency. This is a 7.5 day frequency. This is the micro mental. Now, because it's a micro, that's why it's in a square. If it's a macro, it's in a circle. All right. So this 7.5 day frequency, it's seeing what future family is going to look like because of what you do, and what are the future nations going to look like because of what you do. That's what's happening here. Now, if they're going to be balanced, you got nothing to worry about. If they're going to be unbalanced, well, there are two areas you're going to be concerned with. So the first one, if you're unbalanced and you're not going to leave this world a better place for future families, that is definitely going to affect your right lower quadrant. Okay. Now, if you're having problems making sure that your routine is going to leave every nation in this world fair and balanced, you're going to have problems in your upper left quadrant. That's how simple that is. So for 7.5 days here, if all of a sudden your right hip kicks up, or in 7.5 days you get something in that upper left quadrant that kicks up, it's letting you know you're just out of balance. You got to do something. Now, these are strong frequencies. They go on for a while. So this is going to be something you're going to notice if you're out of balance. It's just how it works. All right. So now we're going to move on to the emotion. Okay. This is the 5-2. This is the emotional 5-2 set we're talking about. And this is going to see what are your choices going to do for the individuals of the future? And what are your choices going to do for the immature or the son perspectives of the future? Now, if it's balanced, you got no worries. If it's unbalanced, then this is where you can expect to feel it. If you're unbalanced with that individual perspective, you're going to feel that in the upper left quadrant. And remember, this goes on for 6.5 days. So this is something that you're going to notice that's going to start up after this awareness comes in, and it's going to peak halfway through, and then it's going to start to tail its way off by the time we change out to the next one. But if you really noticed when the 5-2 started and not long after, you started having some upper left quadrant problem, that's what that's helping you understand. Now, if you're having problems with the immature male side of this, that's going to affect the left hip. That's how simple we've made these graphs. We're connecting the lesson plan to where you're going to feel it in your body so that you can use this biofeedback to your advantage. All right, so let's do the P1 now. So P1 is this first one right here, okay? And this is going to check to see how well you're getting along, or what's the future look like for immature males, and what's the future look like for mature females in the way that you're doing and spending your time right now. So as long as future immature males and future mature females are going to have a better experience because of what you're doing, you have no worries. If you're unbalanced with these teammate perspectives, then this is where you're going to feel it. If you're unbalanced with the immature male, you're going to feel that in your right lower quadrant. If you're unbalanced with the mature females, you're going to feel that in your upper right quadrant. And these are 12-hour frequencies. So in this next 24 hours, if you feel your shoulder in the first 12 hours, specifically this right shoulder, well, that's letting you know right away what the heck's going on, and you'd want to focus a little bit more on these mature feminine relationships. All right, the next one we're going to talk about here is the P2. Right? So the P2 is seeing how our future fathers of the world going to do because of you, and how our future fathers going to do because of the world of you. So this is a doubled up one. You really need to be focused on how you're communicating with those older teammates on the masculine side. That's what that means. Now, if you're out of balance with this one specifically, what's it going to affect? Well, let's take a look. So this is the P2. Here it is. It's going to go to the right lower quadrant if you're having problem with this one, with this father perspective. Now, if you're having problems with this father perspective, that's actually going to go to the right upper quadrant. So just because it's doubled up father, father doesn't mean it's going to affect your body in the same place. And that's why we do these graphs so it doesn't confuse you and you can understand where you hurt, why you hurt, and what it's connected to. All right, so let's get down here and talk about alignments now. Now, there are quite a few alignments today, so we're going to kind of group them all together here. Now, the best way to do alignments is to use our live feed at healthreconnected.com. So during the day, if your quadrant, if you really start to notice one of your quadrants is starting to hurt, you'd want to check that live feed. And what it's going to do is it brings up a time bar and it shows you which alignments we're going through. where we are within the sequence. It'll also show you where we are within the electromagnetic sequence as well as this test sequence. We've got real-time feed here for you. So you got no excuses. Now, if you start to hurt and you open this thing up and you see it's going through an alignment, you can use this alignment chart to see exactly which frequencies are aligning and what they're testing you on and where it's going to hurt in your body. Now, when we're dealing with these blue alignments, that's testing to see how well you get along with teammates. And the purple alignments, they want to see how balanced your routine are. So when we're dealing with teammates, I already said this, but we'll go through it again quick. You got to be able to communicate, coordinate, alleviate stress, and coordinate routines with every member of the team. It shouldn't matter if they're masculine, feminine, if they're older, younger, you got to master relationship with all of them. Now, if you're struggling to get along with the younger members of the team, Day's blue alignments are going to get after you and they're going to affect the lower quadrants of your body. So if those time bars are going through these blue ones and you're feeling more in these lower quadrants of your body, it's just telling you you're not doing so good with getting along with your teammates. Okay. Now, if the time bar is going through any of the purple alignments today, that's testing to see how balanced your routine is. Because if you're committed to your team and you're committed to getting along with your teammates, then you're all working together to make sure that your future routines are going to make it better for every future family. Now, if you're not doing that, if you're over investing in your own strategies, then you're going to have problems here. And this is going to be a tough day for a lot of people in the upper quadrants because this is testing to see how balanced your world and your national views are. That's what the yellow and the green colors are. The orange and the red colors are how you're balancing at the individual and family level. So I imagine there are going to be quite a few people that are going to have headaches and sinus problems and all kinds of upper quadrant issues during these alignments because it's obvious we're out of balance. If you look around, you can see that our societies are not getting along and you can see that our climate is deteriorating fast. Okay. It's not stable, that's for sure. So what this is going to let you know is you need to start balancing a little bit better and you need to be thinking about the bigger picture. So if the time bar is going through these purple alignments and you start feeling these upper quadrants a little bit more, now you know what that's about. Okay. These alignments are just to help you understand that your choices matter. This is biofeedback, and these alignments are amplified moments, and we use these to our advantage because we're trying to help you understand that you really don't have an option here. These frequencies are in control. You decide not to go along with what they're trying to teach you, and, well, they kind of beat you up. They rough you up a little bit until you decide to change your mind. All right, so let's keep moving here. That's the end of the forecast for the most part. We like you to know that we all have the rest of the day. So we've already done day 6. So really the only day that's left is day 6.5. So you can come down here and check this out. We also have the alignment guides going on here for the entire sequence. We can see what the alignments are going to be for tomorrow, for example. Tomorrow is going to be a heavy alignment day, and there's going to be a lot of electromagnetic activity. So this is nice for you to be able to see so you don't have to wait for me to do the forecast for you. And then finally, we've got the rest of 2024 here. Okay. No more mysteries. We want you to be aware of when this electromagnetic pattern goes up because this literally not only manipulates us at the individual level, but at the collective level. So when you see social tension go up, it happens when this pattern elevates and holds like this. That's just how simple it is. And the more individuals we get tuned into this pattern and overcoming their defensive design and eliminating their stress, the faster we can make this better for everybody. All right. We appreciate your time and we'll see you in the next 24. Thanks.